Galt and Taggart has also revised Georgia's economic growth upwards. It's 7% now for 2021. What role does tourism have in that?
We have quite strong expectations about tourism sector in 2021, but not very much optimistic, I would say, because we expect around 36% recovery compared to 2019, not more, because mass vaccination hopes in second quarter is already behind, and it will only be possible in third quarter or even in fourth quarter. Therefore, Georgia is not on the map of destinations as a safe destination yet. So we are a destination for countries unvaccinated like us. However, we have very strong expectations in 2022 because this wind of change from west to east is already blowing in the tourism sector also, because recently I've seen consumer sentiment surveys in vaccinated economies about travel, and this is already noticeable that people will start traveling very soon in 2021. The recovery will be limited, but we are already seeing first signs of recovery. It was in May when it was first time when number of visitors exceeded 100,000, and I think that it will be more in June, July and August, because land borders are already opened.
Yes, that's the point I want to emphasize with you, because your comment that Georgia can be open for tourists, but these will be tourists that are unvaccinated,
yes,
like us. Do you think we should bet on opening land borders? And that is because not to get another wave of pandemic that might then turn into a stricter lockdown, which should not be an option.
If we look at top 15 of countries that travel to Georgia, out of it only Israel could be considered as a safe source market, green market for attracting tourists. To continue closing borders for neighbors and non-neighboring countries in a situation when we have 700 cases per day with 40,000 tests done every day, I think it will be too cautious to remain closed for others, because sooner or later these vaccines will come, and my guess and feeling from public speeches is that they will come soon in July, and we can't remain closed forever.
Right now it seems that we are kind of like working step by step what the situation tells us to do. What is your take on that? I mean, I understand that during pandemic, of course, because epidemiological picture also changes. But in the long run, do you see the strategy? Do you see the approach towards tourism? What we want to get out of this potential that this country definitely has?
I will start from short-term recovery, and I will continue to long-term recovery.
Please.
First, we talked a lot about several deficiencies of Georgia's tourism sector, and first thing was low share of high spenders and over-dependence of neighboring countries. I think that in the short term, over-dependence on neighboring countries will be beneficial for Georgia's tourism, may be beneficial for Georgia's tourist sector, because, as I said, it will be very difficult to convince Europeans to travel to unvaccinated country, while every consumer sentiment survey says that people are more willing to travel with their own transport rather than take flights, because it's associated with less anxiety for them. Second factor I want to mention is low prevalence of business travel to Georgia, which was seen as a deficiency of tourism sector in the pre-pandemic, because we know that business travelers are high spenders, definitely. However, we talked years that we want to position as MICE tourism destination,
of course,
but
yes.
it never happened. And right now we are not dependent on MICE business, which which could be good for in the short term. In the long term, I think that yes, we should position as nice tourism destination. And third thing I want to mention is age breakdown of our travelers. First of all, despite the fact that majority of vaccinated people around the world are elderly, people above 60 or 70, eagerness to travel is higher among young individuals right now. They're low spenders compared to elderly, but I don't think that we have luxury to choose between tourists right now.
At some moment, if you remember when this pandemic broke out and we had this severe lockdown, and due to that we had very rare cases in Georgia, and Georgia was kind of named like green residence country. Do you think that was a mistake not to use that potential, or is it too easy to talk about it from this perspective? Maybe
I will use the example of Croatia, which is a country we aspire to be in 10 years. They opened borders in second quarter, and this backfired by rapidly increasing cases, and they had to close country again. So I think that it was a matter of time when our borders would have been closed again. So I don't think that it could have been game changer in 2020.
And to come back to the opening of land borders, what your line of thinking is that, and reasoning behind being pro opening the border, is that because now vaccines are more available, right?
Yes, now vaccines are available and will be available in the nearest future, and 10% of population has already had COVID, according to official answers, but according to estimates, a third of population has already had COVID. So if we take this stance, we have third of population who already had COVID. We have 4% of people who already had their vaccines, and positivity rate is 2%. So if positivity rate is below 5%, this is normal for a country according to the WHO standards. So I don't think that we have luxury of
to be too cautious, right? Right now at 11 p.m. all of us have to be home, right? Now Georgi is in Monaco, and he's hosting checkpoints from Monaco. Hi, Georgi again. And there he has to be at home in Monaco at 9 p.m. So is this an impediment to tourism?
Yes, of course. As a tourist, I don't want to be at home at 11. Not in Georgia nor in any other countries.
Or in Monaco.
However, I think that this will change very soon. My guess about is that this regulation is soon to change, because I think that for example, Tbilisi is a favorite destination for young European backpackers who I guess would be against being at home at 11, because that's why they come to Tbilisi to be to be after 11 in the streets of of these towns. I hope that it will be lifted in by the end of June. I think.
Yes, and this sector also, Kakha, this is the sector that turned out to be the most vulnerable, the sector that had to survive the most severe type of lockdown that this country had for the most prolonged time, right? I remember how Galt and Taggart was advocated for assisting these people so that they could survive. What has changed since the beginning of the pandemic?
I think that this crisis was unprecedented. If you look at past crises in tourism sector, it's just funny how big this crisis, how large this crisis was compared to them. We always thought that assisting them during these times was absolutely essential because if hotels are closed, if tour operators are closed, if guides are looking for other jobs, it will take much more time to recover after the pandemics.
And we see this tendency,
yes.
Kakha, right now, because we see restaurants calling for people,
Yes.
saying
Yes.
that they cannot find the staff.
Yes, recovery in tourism will be very rapid, I think, because when I think about it, if Abraham Maslow was alive today, I think that he will change his pyramid and he will put travel somewhere in the beginning of the...
You have already had your 2 jabs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. I will have mine on Sunday when we will be airing the
Yes.
checkpoints. Thank you so much
Thank you for inviting
taking
me.
our
Thank
questions.
you.